Hi, I'm Heather and I am with the Plot Genie, and today we are going to talk about writing while pregnant. At first, I thought this video was going to be comprised over some writing hacks on how to write while pregnant, and I still intend to do that, but I also wanted to get real with you on how my writing has changed since being pregnant. Now, I am a mom of 4 and I am pregnant with baby number 4. I am 7.5 months as of the recording of this video. I will probably be a month further along by the time this video releases. And honestly, this is the first time I've been pregnant in my 30s. I had my 3 older girls in my 20s, and while I know that I am blessed in terms of it's been a relatively normal pregnancy, I have noticed that I am much more tired, exhausted, drained, and perhaps a little irritable, less patient. And obviously that is because I have 4 kids at home and it's been so busy, especially with the holidays coming up. So for me, I know that I had to change my writing schedule, which was the first tip I want to give you, because before I got pregnant, I would write 3 to 4 books at one time, on top of editing depending on the deadlines that I've set for myself, which is a lot. And I could do it at the time because I had a very good handle on my schedule. I have a very supportive partner who can give me that time if I need it. But I was also very motivated and dedicated to the writing schedule that I'd already cultivated, and it worked. It just worked. But being pregnant can kind of be creatively exhausting, because if I'm already exhausted, 2 hours into my day, it's just really hard to find that motivation to write if, you don't have that energy for it. So my first tip for you is don't be afraid to change your writing schedule. So I dropped 2 projects. Luckily, I try not to put pre-orders up until I have either the majority of a manuscript done or it completely done, a cover, that sort of thing. So now I'm writing 2 projects instead of 3 to 4. I'm still editing at the same time, but it's a lot different. I used to get up and write the first thing in the morning and get all my words done there, but I found that it's hard for me to focus on all of that at one time. So now I've amended that, which goes into my second tip, which worked for me, which is consider like sprints or less writing, but more times during the day. So what I mean by that is I have my word count and I always try to hit it in the morning. But now that I'm pregnant, like let's say I want to write 1,000 words per day on this project, I'll break that up into chunks. So I'll write 3,050 words in the morning, 3,050 words after lunch, and then 3,050 words when I'm sitting in the car waiting to pick up my daughter from preschool or something like that, and I will hit my word count. And I do the same for the other project, which depending on the day is about 2,000 words a day, and I break it down like that. For me, that kind of helps me, because just sitting and trying to focus when I have a 2-year-old here or getting the kids ready for school, trying to remember who has hockey practice and who has gymnastics and who has all of that stuff, on top of trying to talk to my husband about, okay, who's going to pick up what kids, who's going to take who to practice, what's for dinner, what's for lunch, that sort of thing. It can be really hard to keep all of that in my head. Baby brain is so real, even for the most organized and even for the most put together. So for me, taking the time of, okay, here I have 15 minutes where, I'm waiting for my daughter to come out of school, I can get in 300 words in that time. It's not a big deal. That has really helped me and freed me up. So if I need just downtime to go read or to watch TV or to do that, I don't feel guilty because I know, okay, I've already hit my first sprint. I'm going to do my second sprint after lunch. This is when I've scheduled it, or whatever works for you and your schedule. So, which that leads to my next point is what time works best for you. Some people, when they're pregnant, they used to be morning people and now they're night owls, and vice versa. Or sometimes they find creativity throughout the day rather than early or late. You have to figure out what works best for you. And whether you're pregnant or not, that's really, really important. Where do you find you're most creatively fulfilled? If you, my second grader has this analogy that she was taught in school are buckets, right? We all want to fill up each other's buckets. It's positivity, treating each other with kindness. But if you had a bucket of your creativity, when is it the most full? And so you have to just remember that, take that into account. And sometimes what's crazy is that it will change, sometimes on a daily basis. I could count on pre-pregnancy Heather to always be ready and motivated to go at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. Pregnant Heather is now, well, I'm good for 300 words here, but you know what? I can't go until 9 o'clock after that. And then, you know what? But on Tuesday, I can definitely do about 600 words, 9 o'clock, but don't ask me to do it after lunch because I'm just not going to do it. It's just crazy. And so you have to be adaptable to yourself because your energy is going to change every day. Your mood is going to change every day. And so as long as you can fit in your writing time, because it's so important that you prioritize this, even when you're pregnant, if you can, then you should do it and just adapt to it. You don't need to have a strict routine in order to accomplish this either. So, my fourth tip is to prioritize your health. That means exercise, yoga, meditation, walking, anything that you can do to sort of step back from the writing, stretch out your body, make sure that baby is taken care of, make sure you're eating well, drink lots of water, and kind of a side tip, but if you get like super cute cups, you're gonna want to drink more water anyway, so I recommend that. But anyway, just make sure you're prioritizing your health. And a benefit of doing that is if you're walking, whether it's outside, whether it's on a treadmill, sometimes ideas are going to come to you. Sometimes that plot hole that you were trying to think about but you couldn't think about because you have baby brain, that's going to unknot itself when you are focusing on something else that has nothing to do with your story. So those are the things I like to do. I like to do exercises. I like to do yoga. I love to meditate. Right before bed, I kind of fall asleep into the meditation. And I like to walk when I can. If you can't do these things every single day, do not beat yourself up for it. It's been really big for me. It's one of my life lessons that I have to learn because I kind of give myself a hard time if I don't walk a mile every day because I'm trying to stay healthy during this pregnancy, and obviously walking is one of the best things that you can do, but sometimes you're just so busy that you can't. And this does go to writing, but be careful not to fall into the trap of making excuses for not writing either. So just prioritize your health, but also prioritize your writing, right? And the last tip that I recommend is sometimes when we're pregnant, what we love to eat, suddenly we hate. And this happened to me for the first time in this pregnancy where I didn't want my favorite cereal. I wanted spicy ramen, but without egg. The way that I used to eat my ramen before the first trimester is no juice, hard-boiled egg and noodles with obviously the seasoning. And I loved that. But for whatever reason, suddenly I was completely averse to this. I wanted the juice, I didn't want any egg, and I wanted sriracha on it. Now, once the second trimester hit and the nausea definitely went away, I can now resume eating either one, whichever tickles my fancy. But you can apply this to your writing too. Sometimes we're so into a story, and the second we get pregnant, something changes. Our hormones are changing, our bodies are changing, our mood is changing, everything is changing. That might mean changing to a different story, and that's okay. Whatever you can do to get words out, whatever you can do to keep moving forward, do it. Don't let pregnancy be an excuse to hold you back. Know your own body to know, okay, you know what, Sundays I need that rest, but I can still do it Monday even if I'm having a tiring day. I can still hit that word count, or at the very least I can get some words in. Don't give up on yourself, because once you start to fall into that habit, it's going to be so hard to pick it back up. And guess what? The longer that you're pregnant, the harder it is to find that energy, right? Especially if you already have kids at home, especially if you're working full time on top of all of that, it's hard. But you've got to stay motivated. And I just think that that's really, really important. Pregnancy is not an excuse to not follow your dreams, right? You don't want to be that person. You can still do it. You might have to change things, you might have to adapt, but that's what we're all good at, right? Like, that is why humans have thrived for so long, is we're good at adapting to things. Don't be afraid to adapt. You can do this. I believe in you. So I hope these tips helped you. If you have any tips, if you're pregnant and you have some great tips on how do you keep writing when you're pregnant, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear if any of these tips resonated with you, whether you're pregnant or not. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a like. It's so helpful and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.